So if you want, we can go ahead and get started. We'll just get started. So I just wanted to welcome you guys and thank you guys for coming. I'm sure there'll probably be more people just hopping on as we get going. But I had the absolute pleasure of meeting Elva at one of our other, Zoom meetings. And I think it's something that all of us can use. And like I said, that's why, I brought my husband on with me, because I told him, I need you to hear this. I need you to be present and understand the importance of organization, because it's something that it's stress that we don't need. And I love that, there's a home for everything that we have. So I appreciate you guys being here, and I hope you guys get as much as I got out of it. And thank you, Jessica. I could see it in your face how excited you are. So I'm really excited, to have her here today. And I don't know, Jessica, can you put her bio up again really quick?
Yes.
So just a little bit of background about her. Her business, the name of her company is Sensational Organizing Services, which is located in San Dimas. And it looks like you were founded in 2015, and organizing has been something she enjoys doing since she was a child. She is born and raised in Santa Barbara. Wow, very nice. Lucky you. She empowers her clients with mind shift need to uncover the desires hiding underneath the clutter, which is awesome. She's a member of the National Association of Productivity and Organizing Professionals. When she is not organizing, she enjoys watching movies with her husband, 2 kids, and they're evaluating what is that? Malinois. Okay. Is that a dog? I don't know. I'm not a dog person. So her secret tip for finding motivation is listening to podcasts and audible books while she does chores. Signature talks: declutter with confidence, discover your clutter triggers, learn the steps you need to overcome them so you can tackle the clutter in any space, implement a new approach to find your balance. So basically, in a nutshell, this is something, like I said, we all need, whether you're a buyer, you're a seller, or you're just living in a home that, needs some attention and needs some help. So thank you so much, Elva, for agreeing to, be here tonight. We appreciate it. And I'll give you the floor.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate so much your time and attention. And Jessica as well for jumping on ahead of time and checking the audio with me. So I'm going to go ahead and get started and share my screen here. So before I get started with telling you about myself, I'd like to know what sort of information you want to get from this presentation so that I could insert some additional tips along the way. So if you could enter into the chat box what you hope to get out of this presentation, that would help me a lot. And I'll go ahead and get into myself here. So a little bit about me. Again, I was born and raised in Santa Barbara by my single mother. My father left at a very young age. So I was left being my mom's right hand. At the time, when my mom found herself being alone and feeling unstuck, I took on that task of trying to help my mom find that balance. When you have 2 people in the home, it's easier to find a balance. But when there's only one of you, you find yourself splitting your time and trying to juggle all the balls up in the air. Very difficult for a single mother to do. I do have 15 years of administrative assistance experience. I worked for 15 years alongside busy executives in different fields. So I was always organizing their systems and trying to simplify things and streamline. And that's a lot of where I have sharpened my organizing skills as well. I have 2 children, ages 9 and 13, which shows another level of experience, because you just kind of learn to organize for different kinds of people, and your experience on how to manage a home and manage your own children definitely plays a big factor into organizing for families. I have been married to one man for now for 15 years, which is, it's good to hear nowadays, right? And I founded Sensational Organizing in 2015. And I have a team of organizing assistants working alongside me. So I'm not doing this alone. I joined the National Association in 2017, and I am the Director of Professional Development for the virtual chapter, which means I come up with the topics, and we have specialists in every field, bringing us additional information so that we can sharpen our skills. I was featured in the Better Homes and Gardens, and I have organized for football players and models, stay-at-home moms, and passionate women that want to change the world for themselves and others. That is what motivates me, is that the women that I get to empower and help to change the world. These are the services that we provide. We organize offices, kitchens, pantries, bedrooms, catch-all rooms, bathrooms, playrooms, and pretty much any room of your home, as well as your car, because as passionate people, that's pretty much where we do a lot of our business. I help downsize before a move, because we don't want to take clutter from one home to another. We want a fresh start. So that is what I help clients do, as well as unpack so that you can be organized from day one. I also help do online estate sales and virtual organizing. Here's some examples of the type of work that I've done. As you can see, I maximized here for a gentleman, his closet being piled up. And this is what I find a lot of times when people are trying to get organized. They have this space and they don't know what to do with it. They don't know how to maximize what they have as far as storage, so that they can find things easily in the mornings, as well as organizing and streamlining the closet so that in the mornings it's easier to get dressed. Here's another example. This was also a single mother, and this room became a catch-all room. And it was multifunctional, where she did her office work as well as crafts and utility storage. So sometimes we have rooms that need to do multiple things for us, and we don't know how to get them to do that for us. Everything just kind of blends together and becomes a big mess really easily. Here's another room. Paperwork is a source of overwhelm for a lot of people. So I help people also set up proper paper systems, as well as space design and clutter. So if this is you, where you wake up feeling frazzled, you can't concentrate because of the clutter, you have so much you want to accomplish that it paralyzes you, you start in one room to try and get organized, and you find yourself going around in circles, and you just can't figure out how to get organized. I am so glad you are here, and I'm so happy to present this information to you, and hope that it will help you. So if Jessica could give me what has been entered into the chat box, what you would like to hear from this talk.
Yes, so so far I only have one person, and she said, I would like to know how to determine when it's time to get rid of things.
Okay, I love that. That's a great question. Okay, thank you for that. Okay, so today you will discover the source of your clutter chaos so that you can better manage it, the steps you need to take in order to declutter any space, and how to keep it organized. Because after all that work, we want to make sure that we are able to maintain it. So let's get started. Discover the source of the chaos. The chaos on the outside is a reflection of the chaos on the inside. So I want you, this is a great quote to keep in mind, because when you're feeling chaotic here, your space is gonna show the symptoms. as well as when there is clutter on the outside, meaning the aisles piled up on surfaces. If there's chaos showing up on surfaces, it means there's chaos inside the drawers. So if you're looking at clutter outside, it means things don't have a place, which means things are chaotic inside of the drawers. So in order to clear the chaos here, you need to clear the chaos in your environment. In order to clear the chaos on the surfaces, you need to clear the chaos on the inside first. So this is a big aha when I started seeing this repeatedly in clients' homes. So number one, the source is just too much stuff. Just thinking back to my mother as a single parent, it's just too many balls, too much going on. We own too much stuff. So knowing that in itself empowers you, because you just know you need to pare down. There's just no way we can manage it all. And I know that sometimes we like our stuff, but we also would like some peace. And so we need to come to a grips with what kinds of things deserve our attention, because we just can't give attention to everything. So we want to give everything a home, and we want to create boundaries for the items you do choose to keep. If you think of containers as containers, let me see, like say this here, I'm keeping notes in this. This is my boundary. When I see that my boundary is full, I've got to give this attention. This is the boundary that I have given it. So when you get containers, it's not about the aesthetics, though it helps bring and tie together your space. It's about what kind of boundary or containment you want to use. If you have too much stuff, you may want to increase your containment. However, you want to always keep in mind that is your boundary. And boundaries in terms of your space and organization is very important. Boundaries are important to help keep your space organized. It's helpful for your calendar so that you know how to manage your time, as well as how you allow people to treat you. So it's very important that you master this boundaries, okay? And to help you better get a grasp on this term, I want you to think of the carton of eggs. There's 12 eggs that fit in that carton. If I ask you to fit one more egg in there, how can you add another egg in there? By taking one out.
Yeah, so they won't fit. Actually, I've tried that. They won't fit. It won't close.
No. So I'm using the analogy of the eggs because that's exactly how fragile our lives are as well. If we try to fit too much into our schedule, we're gonna crack. If we try to fit too much into our spaces, it's gonna create a mess. So boundaries are very important. Next is, again, overcommitting your calendar. Creating healthy boundaries in your calendar with what commitments you are saying yes to is another thing that you need to keep in mind. So are there items in your calendar that you can delegate? At the end of every week, when you're preparing for your following week, you need to take a look at what you might have added to your calendar that you may need to take off or you need to delegate, because you need to be able to have enough energy to tackle the things that need your energy and attention based on your priorities and your life goals. Because we can do everything. We just can't do everything at the same time. Amen. Yes. The next one is procrastination. So now there's several reasons why you may be procrastinating. The first one is self-care deprived to the point of depression. We need a balance between giving of ourselves and receiving. And I like to use the metaphor of the ocean. Just as it gives, it also receives. So as you give of yourself, you need to receive attention and care. And it needs to be a balance. If you are giving so much, you won't have the energy, the motivation to take care of your home and your children that need the attention, which is the reason that we get up in the morning. It's also helpful to realize what motivates you to do the task, because when you're trying to get organized, one of the reasons people can't seem to get organized is they just can't seem to get started. And that's why in my bio, I like to say the thing that motivates me is listening to podcasts, listening to music. Sometimes you need companionship. So figuring out what helps you get into the mood is really helpful for you, because you know it needs to happen. You know getting your space organized will save you time, will relieve stress, will help you feel better about yourself and your environment. But we can't get there if we don't have the motivation to do it. So we need to figure out what motivates us to get the task done. And then perfection and having fear of doing it wrong. So yes, we actually, people that have hoarding tendencies, the reason they have hoarding tendencies is perfection. It's hard to believe that because they have so many things, but they have so much fear of doing it wrong, donating it to the wrong person, recycling it the wrong way, damaging the environment. It's all fear of perfection. So just getting started and going will help you get clarity and just get some momentum. The next one is habits. It's important, once everything has a home, it's important that everything returns to their home, because when things remain in a place, you think about, for example, oftentimes people declutter and things stay in a corner, or they go in a room, and then all of a sudden everybody says, hey, well, it's messy right there, let's just throw it in the room. And that's how catch-all rooms became a thing, is because that room does not have a function, let's just throw it in there. And a clutter, the definition of clutter is postponed decisions. That's all clutter is. So people have postponed deciding to take it to donation or where it needs to go. They've postponed how to handle an item, and so it's just stuck in that room. So the sooner you make a decision on what you want to do with an item and you process it and get it out of your home, the better it will be, the more momentum you will get. And then creating the healthy habits, such as making your bed in the morning, cleaning off your desk at the end of the day. Those are very healthy habits that will also make you feel already organized once you do that. And then adjusting your space to reflect your current season. So organizing is an ongoing process. It's not a once and done. It's something that we need to do constantly. And I hear this all the time. People tell me, I used to be organized until I had children. And once they call me, their kids are already in college and they still have baby bottles in the kitchen, for example. And so they spent their whole lives feeling cluttered and unorganized, when it could have just been something that could, get scheduled and adjust your space so that it it helps you in this current season. So with that question of knowing how long to keep things, this is one great question to ask yourself. You know, does this serve me in my current season? Do I need this now? Right? Because you may need it when you're in college, but why do you want to hold on to it until your kids get out of your house and go to college, when you need that space to function now? You know, so these are all reasons that you should adjust your space accordingly. And so many things can change as your season changes. The biggest one here, where I see a lot of things accumulating and people feeling super stuck, is when somebody passes away, because there's so much emotion attached to stuff. You have your own stuff, and then you have your loved one's stuff, and you don't know what value they have placed on their stuff. So this is where I find a lot of my clients getting stuck, is with the emotional stuff. Okay. So
sorry to interrupt you. We also had somebody say to better organize their closets and drawers and manage all the clutter with kids. Someone said, I love clothes, and that is my downfall when it comes to organizing my closet. But I think we all love clothes.
Yes, I can relate. So I want you to remember also, this is something that's very important to me and my heart, because my mother was so passionate, so hardworking. She had a hard time delegating. And as busy professional women, this is something that I strive to encourage women to do, is that you aren't asking for help because you are helpless. You are seeking support because even superheroes need sidekicks. So here's how to organize any space. The steps to reclaim your home. First of all, we want to take a before picture. You will see things differently through the lens. I mentioned previously that people become clutter blind. We see it in and day out. We don't realize what our spaces look like. And we're so busy, we don't really realize, we don't see things anymore. So taking the picture will show you things that you didn't see before. And then something very important is that you do not purchase containers until after the sorting, purging, and zoning. This is another mistake that I see often, is that people think that the organizing container will make them organized. It's the last part of getting organized. It's not the first. So first, we want to, when we're working in a space, we want to take it all out and sort like with like. We want to purge, subtract, or release, however you want to call it. I know that this is a word that a lot of people cringe. It's like, purge, but this is my stuff. So whatever word makes you feel good, I want you to use that word. Whether it's subtracting from your space what no longer serves you, whether it's just releasing, that word releasing, it's a good word. It's softer than purge, right? So use whatever word makes you feel right. And then you want to zone and designate where things should live. After that, you'll measure and get the right organizing container for the location where things are going to be. An example, say you want to organize your bathroom makeup, and you buy a makeup organizer for inside the drawer. Well, what happens if you organize and you purge and you get rid of some things, and you organize your drawers, and you realize you don't have space for your makeup inside the drawers? So you just purchased containers for the wrong thing. So now you have to go to the store, and now you have to try and figure out a new solution. So maybe you'll want to organize the makeup on the countertop, or maybe you want to relocate them into another room. Maybe you've realized you don't do your makeup in the bathroom, you do your makeup in your bedroom. So that's why it's important that you go through these steps and then figure out how you're going to maintain and continue it. These are some of the tough questions to ask yourself. Let me just move this bar here. So these are great questions. Do I love it? Do I need it? Do I use it? When was the last time I used it? Does it serve me? Would I buy it again if I saw it at the store at full price? This is a good question for when you're organizing your wardrobe, because it might have looked good on the mannequin or hanging on a hanger, but really you haven't worn it. And if you saw it again at the store at full price, you wouldn't buy it again. And is it worth the space it's taking up? And then for those things of just in case, I need to keep this just in case. A good question is, can it easily be replaced if I needed it again? A good rule is if I can replace it for under $20 within 20 miles, it's probably safe for it to go. Because you may, again, chances are those just in cases, you'll never need them. It's happens repeatedly. So you can give yourself that guideline that if it costs less than $20 and you can replace it within less than 20 miles, then you can feel comfortable letting it go. Just give yourself that permission. Oops. Okay. And then in case there's anybody on here that is preparing for a move, I did add this slide here. So you want to start preparing with several months anticipation if possible. The time is on your side if you can do it with the most time. You want to decide what you want to do with the items you don't want, whether it's just donating, whether you want to do an estate sale, whether you want to do a yard sale, whether you just want to sell your large furniture items. The idea is that you want to start with creating a holding spot, because as you declutter every area of your home, you want those items to go somewhere. And then start decluttering room by room. I know there's a method going around that you declutter category by category. That method is great for, it was created in Japan, where people's spaces are a lot smaller and people don't have a lot of stuff. In California, we have a lot of stuff, so it doesn't end up working out that way. So organizing room by room is the best method. If you want to sort category by category in the room, it's that's possible. And then have your yard sale and donate the remainder. Don't allow things to come back inside. And then you want to depersonalize and pack items for storage to prepare your current home for sale. Pack your belongings and label boxes according to the room where it will go, so that when the movers move your items, they can take them to that room for you. And then create an open first box of toilet paper, linen, paper towels, utensils, and anything you need on your first night. Because otherwise you won't be able to find the important things that you need to get a good night's rest in your new location. Okay. And lastly, keeping things organized. So things must go out at the rate that you bring stuff in. Okay, so if you're out shopping,
yeah, that's hard.
You buy a lot. Another good idea to do is when you're decluttering, you want to leave yourself a margin. Having space is good. We don't need to feel like we need to fill every corner of our homes. If we leave margin means being able to breathe. So if we leave margin, it allows us to be able to enjoy when we're out shopping and we bring additional clothes, for example, we won't feel bad after we've already decluttered and now we decide to shop because we gave ourselves space. Okay, so that also helps when you're decluttering your closet is, you know, I replace this with something else that I will enjoy more, you know. And then check your boundaries periodically. Schedule monthly decluttering sessions every 3 months or every month, however amount of stuff fluctuates into your home. And think about where things will live before buying something new, especially large furniture items. And then label things and name your zones. This is very helpful for communicating your system to your family, because oftentimes, you know, you get families get stressed out and there's a lot of friction when things don't go back to where they're supposed to go. So naming the zones, for example, I have an exit closet. This is every time my kids decide they don't want something, I have an empty bin in that closet labeled donate. And this is my exit closet. And then I have another pantry, another closet that is right now for the emergency time. It's our emergency closet. And we have overflow of stock of goods. You know, it's also good to have, this is our emergency closet for when we prepare for our emergency preparedness. So labeling, just creating zones and giving them a name helps your family to, again, know where things should go. Keeps them in their place. Okay, so any questions?
You guys can unmute yourself.
Hi. One thing that I always seem, I joined kind of late, but one thing that I always seem to, I love to organize and declutter, to be honest with you. So everything that you mentioned, interesting enough, I do. You know, I do the whole, I love it, I don't love it. If I haven't used it in 3 years, it goes in the trash. You know, I even secretly throw away some of my husband's stuff and he doesn't know. Because it just drives me nuts. But one thing that I always have trouble with is the garage. The garage seems to be like the dump all place. And so some thoughts on the garage, I guess, is so I've tried to put things in bins. I try to label things, but for some reason it just continues to grow. And here I am, like right now, that's one of my tasks during this quarantine is to try to declutter the garage again. But I feel like I just did it 6 months ago. So
Yes.
What advice do you have to not have people just throw stuff in the garage?
Yes, garages, stuff that go in the garage are the halfway out thing. They're almost already halfway out. They just need to get their way out of your house.
Yeah.
Tell me about the kinds of things that you end up getting out of there, or what kinds of things are in disarray.
It's everything. I even had a little storage shelf thing put on the ceiling, and so I was like, oh, okay, this will give me some. All of a sudden it's full now, and I'm like, okay, I'm still feeling the same anxiety when I walk out there because I'm a pretty organized person. Like my pantry's all organized, labeled, and everything in a certain order. My closets are, you know, in order, but the garage just seems to be like the dump all place. The only thing I was thinking of the other day when I was listening to what you were saying is if maybe I had like a crate in there and people could just put stuff in that crate and then I could just toss the crate.
Yeah, having an empty bin in there that says donate or sell, it gives them a holding spot. So again, because again, you need somewhere to put the stuff that you don't want, that you can't process, you can't get out right away.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right? So is Is it memorabilia? Is it holiday stuff? Is it bikes? Is it what is it that's not? It's possible that they don't have zones. So if you haven't named the area, so like say this wall is for all the holiday, this other wall is for all the sports and the bikes, this other wall over here is for memorabilia. So it's possible that your garage isn't zoned. So when people go in, they may see labels, but all the labels, everything is still mixed.
Okay. Yeah.
So
okay.
zoning.
That right there. I have not zoned the garage. That I have not done. Okay. I'm going to try zoning
Yes.
in the garage and see how that works.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. That's a good suggestion. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I think one of my problems is shoes and clothes. I always think like, I really like this. I haven't worn it, but it's so cute that, you know, I don't want to, you know, throw it in the trash or donate it. So that's a big problem for me.
Does it fit you?
No, but if I lose weight, it will.
Yeah. So this is the recommendation that I always suggest. Or here's a few things that you might think about. If you put that on, how does it make you feel? It makes you feel like you're not good enough. You're not the right size. It's a constant reminder that you're not the right size. And it makes you feel bad and makes you feel guilty. Why keep mean people in your closet? You know, yes, it's cute, but maybe you can gift it to somebody that can enjoy it, or repurpose it. Maybe you can make a pillow out of it because it's a nice pattern. If it's a nice pattern. Yeah. But otherwise, if it's being mean to you, get it out.
Wow, that's a different way to see it.
Yes. Yes. If you like the pattern, however, you can look for a different size, just the right size that fits you.
Yeah.
Now.
Yeah.
And the other thing, when we have things that we haven't worn in a closet, the other thing to think about is maybe you don't have the proper bottom to match it, and that's the reason you keep skipping it. So figuring out why you keep skipping it is helpful. The other thing is, if you just have that one shirt that doesn't fit, you could make it your goal shirt. If people have a lot of things that don't fit, it's a constant reminder in the closet of how, you know, we're not the perfect size, which we are, you know. And if, however, it's a motivation, then use it as a motivation. But don't keep a whole wardrobe of clothes that doesn't fit.
Yeah.
Because putting it in your garage for when you do fit into it isn't gonna help to get you to fit into it. It's just gonna accumulate. It's just gonna collect dust.
Yeah.
And it doesn't help you live in the present moment. It just helps you feel stuck.
I think there's a guilt that it's still in good condition and I don't want to throw it away. So I guess that's it. It's like, I feel like I'm wasting money. I feel like, it's good. Like, I don't know. So, but yes, so the shoes too. It's pretty much, they're cute and most of them fit, but I just haven't worn them for a while, but they're super cute. So when that right day comes, that, you know, maybe I'll put him on, but I have to ask myself those questions that you said. When's the last time I put him on?
Another idea is that you could box it up and get a label from this company called ThreadUp, or what's that other, I forget what the other company is called, but ThreadUp is an online consignment shop where you send in your clothes and they sell it and you get paid for it. So that way you take care of the guilt. You get it out of your closet and you get something for it. But the longer you spend time with things, the stronger the attachment to these things become. So if you could go to threadup.com every season, fill in a box of clothes you're not wearing, get it out of your house, you'll be able to get some cash back and invest in yourself with a good wardrobe that will make you feel your best.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I would say junk drawers are something that I have a real big issue with. I always clean out drawers, but it seems like they always become the everything drawers. And it's hard because like even my kids, they'll put their toys in the drawers. Like in the kitchen, I have, everything kind of organized as, the best that I do. I don't think it's good enough. I'm always beating myself up about that. But the kids always manage to just throw everything in the drawers. And I open the drawers and it's like, this is for spoons or this is for this. And now all the stuff is in one. And so it kind of gets frustrating. And I feel like, am I being kind of petty because I keep telling them like, no, this goes there, that goes there, but they have to know where things go. And how do you get rid of junk drawers?
Is it just one junk drawer? Or
No.
is it like every drawer feels like a junk drawer?
In the kitchen right now, I'll tell you, I think 4 of my drawers are full of stuff that everyone just throws in there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And it's hard because, well, I'm a baker, so I have I have my stuff organized. My husband, he does a lot of building, he builds things. So he has a lot of tools that we've constantly, it feels like all the time, we're always trying to keep that in the garage, my stuff over here, but it seems like it just gets put everywhere and it's frustrating.
Yeah. Yes. If you think about your utensil drawer with the spoons and the forks and the knives, that drawer seems to always stay organized.
Mm-hmm.
Why?
Well, I do have that little cubby thing that has so that kind of stays.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's clearly marked as its home.
Mm-hmm.
So when you have junk drawers, it's because the stuff in that junk drawer does not have a home. You haven't clearly communicated to your family and created the habit of where things need to go. Because the forks and the spoons always go to the right drawer, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So the other things that have accumulated in the junk drawer, that's why it's called the junk drawer, because we've named it that way because these things don't have a home.
Okay.
So
Right.
if you could direct your kids to, okay, all your toys, either have
Toys is a whole other issue.
That's what I was gonna ask. Yes.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Usually we have too much toys.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes. And then are they all over the home or are they in one room?
We have a playroom, but I have 5 children. So it seems and you know what? I fight my husband because he's actually really good about getting rid of things. I don't know if it's something, I guess it is something like as you grow up, you kind of, where I've always kind of been like the hoarder, I would say. I think I'm the hoarder in the relationship with everything. Like I like to just keep stuff one day, and I think that's kind of inherited to me because I just feel like, I need to keep this. What if I need it one day? Or what if I look back and I'm like, oh man, I got rid of that. And my husband, on the other hand, he's like, throw it away. He'll throw away everything. He'll just walk out the house and say bye. He's like, no attachment to nothing. And I'm totally opposite. So it's like, I don't want to get rid of stuff. And he's like, get rid of everything. I don't care. And it's like,
yes.
So.
Yes, it's a great time to evaluate what your relationship with your stuff is.
Yeah.
That's deep.
It is.
Deep. Because many of us have been conditioned to think that if we get rid of something, we're being wasteful.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And if you think about it the other way, is if you pass on something that you're not using, you're actually being generous with your stuff because you're sharing.
Mm-hmm.
You've been blessed with abundance of stuff. So
Right.
much that some of it you can't use.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
But if you're not using it, you can bless someone else, and you get to honor your space and your boundaries. So
Yeah.
it's a matter of evaluating what your relationship with stuff is.
Yeah.
Yeah. And just knowing that you have permission.
Yeah.
Because again, as we grow up, especially as Hispanics, we're taught, don't get rid of that. I worked hard for that. Don't you know? I worked hard for that. Don't be wasteful.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's definitely, I think I have gotten better though. With my husband being so drastic about it, I've been where he has that rule that you talked about where he's like, okay, you bought the kids 5 new shirts, so now you have to get rid of 5.
Yes.
And I'm like, that's hard for me. I'm like, God, why? But he's like, how can you fit 5 more shirts in there? Like, you can barely close the drawer. It's time to get rid of some stuff. And I'm like, okay, so it is harder for me, but I've been like more looking at it the way you're saying, where, you have more than enough. And so it's time to get rid of what you don't need,
Yes. Yes.
So it's tough though. It's tough.
It is.
I agree with you. I agree with you. It is tough. You feel like you're wasting money.
Mm-hmm.
You're being wasteful, and that's hard.
It is.
Well, if you think about the dump, the dump is filled with stuff that is not needed. If you're keeping it in your home, your home is pretty much the dump because it's filled with stuff that is unused. So starting off with things that you're certain beyond a shadow of a doubt that you do not need is a great place to start. You don't need to feel pressured with getting rid of everything. The idea is not to get rid of everything. The idea is to keep the stuff that serves you so that when you need something, you can find it, so that your life is simpler and you're not trying to juggle all the balls up in the air.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
You need your life.
Yeah.
I have a question.
Yes.
One of the going back to my garage, I'm telling you, I'm pretty organized, but my garage is just something that it's like over here all the time. So in the garage, so when my husband was single, before we got married, he collected DVDs, right? So I kid you not, I have at least, I don't know, like 600 DVDs of some sort. I'm pretty sure there's about that many. So is there any recommendations on, besides donating, is there anything that I could do to storage, put those in storage of like a storage, you said first organize and then figure out what type of bin.
Oh, you went away. You muted.
You got muted.
Oh,
You muted
sorry.
yourself.
Muted.
Oh, sorry. Did I mute myself?
You muted, yes.
Oh, sorry. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. So my question was, I have so many DVDs. What storage bin, is there something that you recommend for like 600 DVDs?
600 DVD. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna get my charger.
Inez, burn them.
Dude, I'm serious.
I was
Like,
gonna say Netflix.
Run them over. No, I was kidding.
You know what? I'm not even gonna be lazy about it. I'm gonna show you guys how many freaking DVDs he has. It's unreal. It's unreal. Let me see. How do you turn this camera around? Okay.
There's
see
no
here.
longer use for those.
I know, right? Okay. I have this bin here. It's like this tall. It goes all the way to the ceiling and it goes all the way to the floor. And these are all DVDs in here. There's like 7 rows of DVDs. It goes all the way down here. There's some in here. There's some in here. There's no need for them. I know there's no need for them. I've tried to sell them, like just to get rid of them, but nope. He's not budging on them. So I got to figure out how to get rid of that big storage thing, but I need to figure out where. Where do I put them? What do I do with them?
Well, since they're your husbands, if he
Yes,
were on here,
sorry.
I could help guide him, because it's a matter of what is he willing to do. So I can give you some suggestions and see
Yes.
what it is he's willing to do with them. First
Okay.
of all, he needs to take a look at the whole collection
Okay.
and to be honest with himself, because again, we have 365 days in a
I
year,
know.
right?
Yeah.
And the likelihood of him watching all of those DVDs, first of all, are slim to none, right? So he needs to come to the reality.
Come to
that
grips, right? That we don't need those.
it's not gonna happen. The other thing is, when you guys watch movies, do you guys watch Netflix, or do you go and try and grab a movie?
No. We have Netflix. We have Hulu. We have Disney Channel. You name it, we have the channels. We have every cable channel you can think of. We have on demand. You know, it's just, that's what I'm saying. It's like, I bet you any of those movies, I can go find it.
Right. And the other thing is, a lot of those movies, you can stream them now. So is he holding on to them because he thinks it's perceived value, that he thinks they may have value at some point, or what is the reason that he's holding on to them? So, and if there's, say he narrows the collection from 600 to something realistic, maybe
Yeah.
250, 100, you want to narrow it down, you could, if he's okay with putting them into the sleeves take up less space. It's similar to
Oh,
hangers.
yeah.
It's similar to the slim hangers. So if he's willing to do that, that'll take up
Okay.
way condensed space.
Like those books, huh? And then just stick them in
Well,
those
not
books, huh?
necessarily books, but if you want to message me, I can send you a link to the ones, they're at the Container Store, where you could take off the label, the sleeve of the movie, and insert so that they have the original picture with the
Brilliant.
movie inside.
Hallelujah. I'm gonna hit the Container Store. That is, and you know what? With cleaning out those DVDs, I bet you anything I can get the garage under control, because I have 2 of those big things full of DVDs. It's ridiculous. And he says, it's the last thing I have from being single. I'm like, we've been married long enough. You can toss them. It's okay.
Yeah, can you send me those too? I really need those too.
Oh my God, Anita, you better not say anything. I just said.
I'm telling.
Because you know him so well. You guys are like besties. Don't tell him I throw away his stuff. I forgot you were on here.
Never. Girl
Okay.
code. Okay.
Oh my gosh. So embarrassed now.
I think we lost her.
Did
Or
we?
either that, or
I think,
are
yeah,
you overwhelmed her with your DVDs? She's gone.
she's like, enough.
That is, I didn't
Yeah,
even know they
it's-
had that at the Container Store. That's awesome.
I think it's our attachment to things. I think we have to get real with ourselves and like stop being so attached to certain things.
Yeah, my husband's very, he has like sentimental value to like everything. And I'm just like, toss it. And he's like, why are you going to toss it? And I'm like, because we don't need it. We haven't used it in 3 years. And he's like, no, but we may need it. I'm like, no, we don't. We're not going to need it ever again. I promise you. And if we do, we'll just go buy it. Just like she said, you go buy it again.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry about that. Hi,
It's
guys.
okay. I know my DVDs overwhelmed you. I'm sorry.
No. I'm so sorry. My computer I tried to save it by plugging it in, but it didn't work.
It was too late. That happened to me.
Yes. Yes, no worries. So are there any more questions I can help?
I have a really weird question. Well, kind of weird. So my auntie gave me pots and pans when they first got married with my husband about 14 years ago. So I used them for a few years, well, maybe about 8 years. And then we moved to this new house and they bought new pots and pans. And those pots and pans that my auntie gave me, like basically like a present, in other words. And they're at my garage. So I will hate to throw them away, but I think because it was a gift to me, I feel like I shouldn't throw them away. But can I throw them away? I don't use them at all.
Okay. So first of all, did
have like that guilt of like, oh my gosh, she gave it to me and she.
Where's she at?
She
Oh.
might have
Oscar
frozen.
dead.
You there?
Can you guys hear her or no?
I
No.
can't hear her.
We
She
can't
might have
hear.
frozen. Oh.
I say we do a thumbs up if she should throw them away.
Or donate them, like she said. Someone else.
What
can
about
give to them.
what about if you took pictures of the pans, pots and pans, and then you put them in a nice little book, like online? You can upload the pictures and be like, look, I saved them as long as I could, but at least you have pictures of them. So if you want to remember your aunt, then you have the pictures. I don't know. Just that's what I did with some of my stuff. But
Can
Okay.
you hear me? Can you hear
now
me?
we can.
Yes, now we can.
Oh, sorry about that. Yeah, so first of all, did you enjoy the pots and pans?
Yes, my mom has another set exactly like my set. So my auntie gave them to me because she wasn't going to use them anymore. And since my mom had the same set, and then I could have the same set. And I do, but my mom still has them and I do too. My mom does use them and I don't because mine are still just stuck in the garage there. But I haven't used them in over 4 or 5 years.
Yeah. So you did what the intention was. She intended for you to use them and for you to be provided for in that time, because maybe yours were scratched at the time. Maybe you didn't have a full set. So she gifted you. That was the intention, for you to feel loved through the gift. It was fulfilled. You fulfilled her wish and desire for you.
Mm-hmm.
What is the condition of them now? Are they still usable? Can you pass them on to someone else? Now, you that guilt of not using them anymore, you can let go of that because you have a full set and the intention was already fulfilled. You fulfilled the desires of her heart, right?
Got it.
So
Yes.
just because you're passing it on does not mean that you love her less.
Got it. Okay.
You love her and appreciate the gift. The intention was what counted.
Understood. Okay, perfect. Offer up tomorrow morning.
I also have
And I
have a
wanted
question.
to,
I don't know
if you do offer up, it will continue to serve you, because what happens, the money comes back into your pocket, you get to advance somewhere else. It gets to, touch your life in another way. So we can recycle things and give them another life by passing them on to someone else and exchanging them for money.
Perfect. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Can
Good
I
luck,
have a
Josie.
question?
Thanks.
And like I had mentioned also, I think when you fell off, that if you take pictures of them, you still have take a picture of it, and then that way you can have it as a memory on a flash drive. I think somebody said a flash drive as well. You can put stuff on a flash drive.
Okay, I got a question. I know this does not pertain to me because certain things I could throw away. The only thing I probably can't is really hard is clothes and shoes. But I have a family member that she is a big hoarder. She likes to keep everything. And no matter what I tell her, no matter what I say, and I know we can't control people, but how is it that, okay, it's my mom, okay? So how do I tell her that, Mom, it's time to get rid of stuff? Like I literally one time went into her bathroom, cleaned out her whole bathroom. I stinking organized that crap. It was clean. Everything had its place. I was like feeling good. Me and my sister like gave each other high fives. We were on a good one. Then she comes home and I thought she was going to be like, oh my gosh, it's so organized and it's great. She has a huge house, mind you. She has a 7-bedroom house. Like, it's huge. So I thought she was gonna come home and be like, oh, it's nice. She comes home, oh my God, you violated me. I can't trust you guys. Da, 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 da. I'm like, okay, so I know I can't use that approach. Is there anything that I can do or kind of explain to her? Because I know there's something deeper there. It's not just I want to keep stuff. There's an underlying issue. Do you know what I mean? So I want to know, like, is there anything that I can do to help her? Because I really want to help her. Me and my sisters, we've really tried to like process this and try to figure out, like, how do we help her? You know what I mean? I mean, she could walk through her house, not a problem, but she just likes to keep a lot of things, like stuff forever. She's like, I'm gonna have a yard sale. I'm like, you're never gonna have a yard sale, mother. Stop. Just stop. You know, like, it's just frustrating. So like, how do I handle that from my perspective? Because like, I'm her daughter, I want to help her, but I don't want to cross the line either, like I did before, and offend her.
Totally. I totally get that. Yes. We can just be there for them when they're ready. If they're not ready, it does feel like a violation because it's their stuff, and to them, they've worked hard for it. To them, it's not clutter. So when she's ready, she will at least know that you are able to create order out of chaos.
Oh yeah, I could do it, but it's just not gonna happen.
You just have to be there, and sometimes, unfortunately, they're not ready, and so just being able to, process her things when you are gonna have to.
I know that's the hard part. My sisters talked about that.
Unfortunately, yeah. You could invite her to classes, suggest YouTube videos, because when they hear it from you, you're too close to her clutter. But if she hears it from someone else, it's a totally different ballgame. I mean, I'm an organizer, and if I try to give advice to my mom, it goes in one ear and out the other. I'm just too close to. I mean, she's my mother. She raised me. I was there to support her, but this is her territory right now. And so I send her videos of a guy from Mexico, Nacho Organiza. And my mother's like, oh,
tell me.
And so she takes his advice. So it's just become our joke of like, oh, look, Mom, check out what Nacho says. And, she's processing it and she's taking it. So she won't take your advice. Send her YouTube videos from someone that she might be more open to.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. I didn't even think of that. I mean, we've tried, watching like hoarders, and like, oh my gosh, Mom, isn't that crazy? She's like, yeah, that's crazy. I mean, but she's not that bad. Trust me. I mean, you can get to her house. It's not like that, but she just likes to keep everything, and so it's just really frustrating for me and my sisters. We're like, we need to get rid of stuff, but I was like, yeah, we'll find our old high school yearbooks when she's gone. It's sad, but like we're never gonna find it, So
totally, it's just, yes.
But
and sometimes they want to decide for themselves, so they want to go through the process themselves. Yeah. Okay,
well, I'll try the YouTube thing and see if I'll sit down with her one day maybe and be like, hey, have a drink. Let's do this. I don't know.
Right.
Got it.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I wish I had better advice, but
no, actually,
we can't make people do stuff.
Oh,
I wish I had a magic button.
Me too. You don't even understand. Me and my sisters, we talk about this all the time, but yeah. But do you know of like any underlying issues why people do that?
Yeah,
because I have my theories, but I'm not sure if I'm correct on it.
Yeah, the biggest issue is fear, and fear of disappointing their parents, fear of being wasteful, fear, just you name it, fear of anything.
Fear, is the underlying issue.
Yes.
That's because
the way people grew up, during Depression era. You think about right now during
Yeah.
pandemic, so many people are scared. Even I'm sure as soon as this is lifted and I go to organize people's homes, they're going to start to feel afraid of letting go of things, because what if, that lack? What if
True, very true. Yeah.
and I need it to survive? So people think that this stuff is going to help them survive, and so that's
Right.
the underlying. It's the fear of, I won't be able to survive without it.
It's true, because you know what happened too now because of all this, right? And when all the shortages were happening, she's got a stockpile of stuff, trust me, in her pantry. So she's like, oh, do you need this? Do you need beans? Do you need rice? I got you. And I'm like, yeah. And she's like, see, if I wasn't like this, then
exactly.
And I was like, oh my gosh, she has a point. But at the same time, I'm like, no, mother, I'm sorry, I'll wait. I'm good. I have a different approach because I hate fear. So it's like, no, I'm not going to do that. But she's like totally like, well, her mother was raised in the Great Depression. So she had that same mentality.
Right.
And then it kind of went on to my mom, like where everything is saved. China sets from 1950 and still in a cabinet somewhere, just like, it doesn't make sense to me. You're never going to use it. It's just sitting here. But that's their mentality of like, it's always going to like, someone's going to take this away from me and I can't let that happen,
Yes.
And that's frustrating. Yeah.
Yes, you got it.
Sorry, but yeah. Okay. Next question. Who's next?
That's a good question.
I had a question. So how do you get your husband, or how do you go through and decide what tools to get rid of? Because our garage is full of stuff. Like, it's crazy. But it's always stuff that he might need.
Yes.
He's an electrician, so he needs a lot of tools, but I'm pretty sure he doesn't need as many tools as he has.
Yes, it might be necessary to maximize in order to serve his needs better, because if everything's thrown around and if it's not maximized vertically and everything has a place and everything is on the one layer of floor, then yes, it's going to feel like too much. But for electricians and tradesmen and men in general, we never get rid of tools because they need that for survival. They just need a place. So having the proper organizing systems, rolling carts, cabinets, those will all help maximize and give everything a home, so that when he needs, say, cables or electrical outlets or whatever it is he needs, he knows exactly where to get it from. Because what happens is he doesn't know where to find it, that he goes to the store and just buys some more. So everything needs to
he actually knows where everything is. It just takes up the whole part of the garage. It's crazy. But he has most stuff in boxes and totes and things. And then some stuff is just thrown around, but I guarantee you if he needed it, he knows exactly where to find it. It's crazy. I don't know how, but he knows where it's at. I could never find it.
So then maybe what I would suggest is having a talk with him and just letting him know that you need a portion of the garage as well, and could he not use the garage as a warehouse?
Yeah, it's a warehouse.
Right. So I need to see your garage in order to give you
you don't want a garage.
But I know that the tools for a man is like, that's my boundary. That's my no square. You do not touch my tools.
Yeah. Well, we also have a quad in there that's been there for 17 years that we don't use, but now we might use it this year. So, it's like they kept it that long, and now we actually might use it. So.
Okay. Get some use out of it. Hopefully it's still working.
Another question. I think I need a little bit of help with my pantry. I don't know if the ladies have that issue, but now that we're all in quarantine and we all stuck up and whatever, I have a lot of stuff in my pantry, like a lot. So I don't know what to do with all that.
Yes. Is it all current, or is some of it expired?
No, I cleaned it out maybe about 3 months ago. Like I
Okay.
typically clean it every so often, but I cleaned it out maybe three months ago. About 3, maybe 4 at most.
Mm-hmm.
But
Okay.
it's just packed of all kinds of stuff that I might not, since we're all still in quarantine and so forth. So I'm not too sure what to do with it.
Yeah. So we can take a look at it, and I can give you individualized tips regarding your pantry, but it's hard to say because some pantries are deep, some are narrow. So the ones that are deep, everything gets lost in the back.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. Yes.
So mine is a little bit deep and towards the back. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Got it.
So with deep cabinets, you want to put things in bins so that when things are in the back, you can pull the bin and get what's in the back. Or Lazy Susans are helpful in there as well. But again, I'll take one more question, but if you guys want to get some help for your own trouble spaces, I do offer virtual organizing right now. And virtual organizing is a mix between DIY and coaching. So we meet together virtually over Zoom. We take a look at your space and I give you a plan. Then we come together and work through difficult decisions. That's the coaching portion of it. And then I give you suggestions of proper products to buy for your space. So we pretty much do it together, and you do a lot of the working, but you get the self-gratification of seeing the project done completely by yourself. Yeah.
And there was a question in the chat.
Sure.
How do you
Take one more
organize your
question.
time?
How do you organize your time?
Your time to cook when you don't like to.
How do you organize your time to cook when you don't like to? That's a good question. Let me see if
I have
can
the answer for
break
that.
it down.
It's
Yeah?
called the Instant Pot, because that thing is amazing. I work full time and I come home and dinner is ready in less than 30 minutes. It's a blessing. The Instant Pot will change your life. And the kids love all the food that I make with it. So
That's great.
And an air fryer.
yeah, air fryer. And Pinterest is 100.
Pinterest. That's a good one. Yes. Claudia says we buy all the time and I have all but something. I saw it cut up. Well, ladies, thank you so much for having me. I have enjoyed my time with you guys so much. I appreciate being here with you guys and all the wonderful questions that you guys had for me. Again, you guys could reach out to me via my website at sensationalorganizing.com, and I'd be happy to help you with your trouble spots.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So much. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Good night, Sonia.
Bye. Thank you, guys.
Good night.
Bye,
Bye.
ladies.
Hey, Sonia, where can I get the video? I missed the first half.
I'm gonna upload it to YouTube as